Good morning.
ප්‍රියන්ත මහත්තයා ඉන්නවද?
බැංකු ගිහින් මැඩම්.
සම්පත් ඔන්ලයින් බැංකින් පහසුයි ලේසි කාලය ඉතුරුයි. සම්පත් බැංකුව හෙට දින එළිය කරයි.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Nadim Majid.
And I'm Florin Rajendran. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines.
A list containing the names of 20 MPs and ministers involved in the drug trade. A raid conducted in Galle in search of coffee laced with intoxicants that was distributed among school children. Preparations made to ward off the corrupt from all parties.
පිරිසිදු දේශපාලන චරිත ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමේ වගකීම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ විසින් ඉටු කරන්න මේ මැතිවරණයේදී ක්‍රියා කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒ අයට ඡන්දෙ දෙන්න එපා.
1 million signatures obtained pledging support to establish a parliament free from corruption. Submitting of nominations commences. Ban on rallies imposed.
The National Dangerous Drugs Control Board says it has received information which affirms that the Colombo district parliamentarian accused of drug smuggling was in fact involved in the trade. The chairman of the Dangerous Drugs Control Board, Nilanga Samarasinghe, says information gathered on MPs who are involved in the drug trade has been submitted to the general secretaries of their respective parties.
සැබවින්ම මේ පිළිබඳව අපිට තොරතුරු දෙන්නට දැනට තියෙන තත්ත්වය යටතේ පුළුවන් අදාළ පක්ෂ ලේකම්වරුන්ට පමණයි. මොකද මේ අපේ මණ්ඩලය හා සම්බන්ධ නීතිඥවරුන් පැහැදිලිව අපිට උපදෙස් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා මේ පිළිබඳ තියෙන නීති රාමුව ගැන. මම හිතන්නේ මේ ඔබතුමාලා තියෙන වාර්තාව. හෙරොයින් ජාවරණ සම්බන්ධයෙන් දේශපාලනඥ කී දෙනෙක් අඳුරගෙන තියෙනවා. හෙරොයින් සම්බන්ධ චෝදනාවට ලක් වුණ අය ගැන ඔබට කියනවා නම් මම කියන්නම් ඒක අයිස්බර්ග් එකක් කියලා. ඔබට අයිස්බර්ග් එකේ පේන්නේ උඩ කොටස විතරයි. වැඩිම පිරිසක් වාර්තා වෙන්නේ මොන පළාත් වලද? බස්නාහිර පළාත. බස්නාහිර පළාතේ විශේෂයෙන් කොළඹ සහ ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කවල තත්ත්වය අතිශයින් භයානකයි. ප්‍රසිද්ධිය අපි දැක්කා මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය වල චෝදනාවල ලක් වෙනවා යම් ප්‍රසිද්ධම විශේෂම කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ පුද්ගලයෙක් දේශපාලඥ වාර්තාවේ ඉන්නවා. මේ වාර්තාවේ ඉන්නවා කොළඹ එතකොට ගම්පහ රත්නපුර සහ මධ්‍යම පළාතේ පවා සඳහන් දේශපාලකයෝ මේ කට්ටිය අතර ඉන්නවා. පහුගිය කාලේ ආందోලනාත්මක තත්ත්වයක් ආවා එක්තරා දේශපාලඥයෙක් ගැන. ඔව්. ඒ පුද්ගලයා ඔක ඉන්නවා. ඔව් එහෙම තොරතුරු අපි ළඟ සඳහන් වෙනවා. ද්‍රව්‍ය සම්බන්ධ චෝදනා ලැබුවේ දූෂකයෙක් අපරාධකාරයෙක් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ගියොත් ඒ වගකීම පක්ෂ මහලේකම්වරුන් ගන්නවා. මම හිතන්නේ ජනතාව මේ වෙලාවේදී පක්ෂ ලේකම්වරුන් පිළිබඳව තීරණයක් ගන්න ඕන.
On the subject of the drug menace, the National Anti-Drug Drive door-to-door awareness campaign by Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti, which is aimed at rallying the people to create a drug-free nation, is underway in several parts of the southern province.
The National Dangerous Drug Control Board, Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti, who toured the southern province, came across a number of school children who provided valuable information to us.
ඒකේ මොකක් වගේද? ඒකෙන් ළමයි අක්කලා ගන්නවද ඒවා?
මෙයාලා කන්ටින් එකක් ගන්නවා.
කැන්ටින් එකේ තියෙන්නේ නේ?
එහෙම කාප්පයක් තියෙනවා. එතන මේ අර මොකද ලක්කගේ හද තියෙන එකකින් තමයි ගන්නෙ. ඒකට කඩයක්.
ඒක විව මොනවද දෙන්නේ?
මත්තිනොත්.
ඒකනේ කලන්තේ වගේ එනවද?
නෑ කිම් අර මත්තිනොත් ළමයි මේක පන්තියන්නේ.
Based on this information, officers of National Dangerous Drugs Control Board from the Galle district, Galle Consumer Affairs Authority, together with the police, inspected several shops in the Valivatta area today. These shops were mainly found in close proximity to a leading school in the area. A number of substances which are suspected to be used as intoxicants were found during raids conducted today. Officers of National Dangerous Drug Control Board stated that they seized several items such as small bottles which appear to contain a type of intoxicant and a type of coffee which is suspected to have a mixture of intoxicants. We took some samples for testing at the laboratory of the National Dangerous Drug Control Board. What we would like to especially state here is that we were able to get successful results such as this because of the door-to-door campaign to eradicate the use of drugs in the country, which we are carrying out with the Civis Media Network. Meanwhile, several drug raids continue to be carried out across the island. One such raid led to the arrest of a woman along with heroin in her possession in the Point Pedro area. The police said that 280 grams of heroin worth 5 million rupees was found in her possession. The suspect, who was produced before court today, was remanded until the 20th of this month.
Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, Deputy Minister of Mass Media Shantha Bandara urged the public to ensure that those charged with corruption are defeated at the upcoming election.
I'm of the clear stance that if there are those who have been charged with corruption and fraud, and if those charges were clearly proved, they should not be given nominations from any political party. If you use your vote wisely, they will not be able to repeat those crimes.
Journalists questioned the Deputy Minister about the nomination given to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa amidst the allegations that are levelled against him.
That was a political decision taken by the UPFA, not a personal one taken by President Maithripala Sirisena. It was a collective decision taken by the United People's Freedom Alliance. So tell them not to vote for them.
Meanwhile, Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka has guaranteed that the United National Party will not give nominations to the corrupt. He made this pledge at a media briefing held in Colombo.
It is evident to us that the people of this country are preparing to bring forth a clean and corrupt-free leadership. The nominations committee have begun to convene. We have already selected suitable individuals from the preliminary round. The United National Party will ensure that we will select clean political characters from every district for the upcoming election.
The National Bhikkhu Front has called on the people to be mindful of the people's welfare when casting their ballot. The front made this call at a media briefing held today.
We say to the people of this country that this is a decisive election. This is not a decision that must be made while taking up lodging in your usual corners. It is time when we must take a decision while considering the unborn generation. The drug peddlers did not use the power of parliament to be accountable to the people of this country. They used it to strengthen their drug businesses. Those who run brothels also used parliament for this. Child molesters used their position to empower themselves. Those who take commissions too used their position for this. The people of this country need to understand this. They need to know that while someone may not be a bookmaker, they could be corrupt contractors. Or they could be people who have sold off the resources of this country. Every aspect needs to be thought about. Are we going to fill parliament with such people?
In 42 days, the country heads to the poll for a decisive general election. The political stage is heating up. Let's take a look at some of the views that are being expressed.
We will teach the Rajapaksas what politics is. If they lose, they must go home. We do not care who contests. We would like to announce to the country that we will crush them and defeat them. They asked for our assistance and they spoke to us not like dogs but like fleas. We were driven to make a decision when Ranil asked as to whether we wanted ministerial posts while having 128 MPs. Our marriage with the so-called government of good governance is over. We made a decision not to help them after the 100 days were over. After they lost and went into hiding and after Maithripala became leader of the party, look at how they act. They went around the country lighting fireworks. We were the ones who made Maithripala president. We were the ones who risked our lives. And here they are carrying out parades. All those in the UNP who helped him become president complained. What was his final response? He said that he will not sin by splitting the party and that he will grant permission to accept the nomination of Mahinda Rajapaksa by putting the SLFP first. By tomorrow or the day after, they will not allow thieves to be nominated even though Mahinda's nomination was accepted. Will I hand over this nomination all by myself along with Maitri? Come tomorrow or the day after, when Mahinda will have to make a decision as to whether he will ask for votes separately with the same group of thieves he was with. All the elephants have long faces at present. They are trying to be jolly by making nonsensical speeches. They can be merry only until the 13th, but not after this day. After this election, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the UPFA will not get more than 55 seats. We have witnessed predictions made by Kirialla. We all know about Kirialla, who said that even cows can fight in the war.
UNP Western Provincial Councillor S.M. Marika reiterates that nominations should not be given to public representatives who have been rejected by the people. He made this statement at an event held in Kulanavar today.
Will nominations be given to chain snatchers? Will nominations be given to ethanol smugglers? Will nominations be given to drug peddlers and murderers? Will nominations be given to those who introduced white vans? Will nominations be given to people who were involved in various nefarious schemes? We wish to say that at the upcoming election, we should ensure that the democracy, good governance and freedom that has been brought about in the country should be passed on to the youth.
UMP Western Provincial Councillor S.M. Marika made a donation of sports equipment to 5 sports clubs in Kulanavar today.
The Pivithuru Hetak organisation, an influence group, convened a media briefing in Colombo today. Let's take a look at some of the views expressed there.
Why were the rogues not punished? The UNP must be held accountable for this. We were aware of serious allegations. Ranil Wickremesinghe wanted an SLFP that was split. Thereby, not a single decision was taken in this time frame that would empower the rogues in the SLFP. We also expected that in these 6 months, Parliament would become a national council to take important decisions on national reconciliation and national policies. Ranil Wickremesinghe broke this, and Mahinda Rajapaksa too completely shattered this hope.
The
alliance that was formed has become impure. The granting of a nomination for Mahinda Rajapaksa is a major victory for them, the impure alliance, the nefarious section of the SLFP. They must be stopped, and in order to do this, a powerful and broad force must be established. President Maithripala Sirisena must announce who will be given nominations from the SLFP or the UPFA within 2 days, or we will have to do our work.
The collection of 1 million signatures for the March 12th declaration, which intends to use the power of the ballot to defeat the corrupt and establish a parliament committed to serving the people, concluded today. I was at the location this afternoon and got a glimpse of the proceedings.
Today marked the final day of the program to collect 1 million signatures for the March 12th declaration, which commenced at Independence Square on the 25th of June. A walk was organised in Colombo today from the Vihara Mahadevi Park to the Open Air Theatre at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
This is not a traditional NGO program. This is a program that is truly bound with the people. This is the unique feature of this program. Election monitors who usually work separately have all come together as the March 12th movement.
A printing press informed me that they have printed 70 million posters. One person has ordered 10 million and taken them away. Another has placed an order for posters worth 10 million rupees. Only those who have earned money through drugs, ethanol, bars and casinos can afford to do this. We are pressurizing the people to think about who they are voting for before they send MPs to Parliament.
We must recommend new criteria to the Elections Commissioner regarding how much money can be spent, who can provide funding and where funding can be taken from. We have taken steps to include this in law in the future.
There are several days left. President Maithripala Sirisena can make a courageous decision to not grant a nomination to the chief person who was corrupt and misused their power.
Politics has become a profitable enterprise today. We have gone from a position of calling for their arrests to calling for them not to be given nominations. We wonder whether politics has become a service for businessmen, drug peddlers, fraudsters and the corrupt. That is why even though the head changes and the government changes, nothing happens to these people.
Subsequently, the March 12 declaration containing the 1 million signatures collected from various parts of the country over 11 days was presented to the political parties. Today marks the 11th and final day of the campaign to obtain signatures for the March 12 declaration. Now, the event to hand over these signatures was held at the Viharamadevi Park. It was handed over to the Secretary General of political parties. For the Newsfirst team, I am Florin Rajendran reporting from the Viharamadevi Park.
Deputy Minister Sanat Jayasuriya says that he has decided not to contest the forthcoming general election.
Speaking to Newsfirst, Deputy Minister Sanat Jayasuriya said that he has also resigned from his post of SLFP organizer for the Mathura district. He added that he has notified President Maithripala Sirisena and Party Secretary Anura Priyadarshana of his decision. Sanat Jayasuriya was elected to Parliament in 2010 from the Mathura district and was later appointed as Deputy Minister of Postal Services. He is currently the Deputy Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Accepting of nominations for the 2015 parliamentary elections commenced today. According to the Election Secretariat, the deadline for accepting nominations is till 12 noon on the 13th of July.
The Janasatha Peramuna was among the first accepted political parties to submit their nominations for the upcoming election. Nominations of the party were submitted under the patronage of party's General Secretary Venerable Bathramulle Seelaratna Thera from the Jaffna district this morning. The Janasatha Peramuna submitted nominations from the Vanni and Anuradhapura districts today as well. Meanwhile, an independent party contesting from the Kurunegala district placed their bonds today. 15 independent parties have placed their bonds thus far. The Election Secretariat has instructed all district secretaries to follow standard procedure when handing nominations for the upcoming general election.
මෙතෙන්දී නාම යෝජනා බාර දීම සඳහා පැමිණීමට පුළුවන්.
When submitting nominations for an accepted political party, the party's secretary or a representative who has been appointed in writing as his deputy, as well as the leader of the group representing the Colombo district and the person second to him must be present. All facilities in this regard have been established. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution is also in effect. Moreover, if a political party or an independent group violates election laws of the Election Act, as per the Election Act, we have been given the power to take legal measures against the party in question.
Additional Elections Commissioner M.M. Mohammed says that parties are not allowed to hold election rallies or motorcades starting from today up until a week following the conclusion of the election. If such incidents occur, the police will follow legal procedures during the election period.
Meanwhile, speaking at an event held in Henwala, Mathura today, former UNP MP Buddhiga Pathirana criticised the common practices among candidates of attracting support when submitting nominations.
This event was held to distribute high nutrition food packs among underweight children in the Henwala South area in Mathura under the Samadhi Kakulu Suwasatha program.
The day nominations are submitted are one of the days when taverns in the country record their highest alcohol sales. This time around, when I hand over nominations, I will be an example to the country by submitting nominations with just me and my driver being present. That is an example, because how do the others come to submit their nominations? By filling up buses with supporters, chanting slogans after offering them alcohol and rice packets. Then they go around destroying other candidates' banners and cutouts. We will set an example not only when submitting nominations, but also during our entire election campaign.
Speaking on the political program Satya or Truth, telecast on our sister channel Sirsa TV, the media secretary of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Rohana Valuwatta, said that the former president will contest under the beetle leaf symbol.
A decision has been reached for former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to contest under the beetle leaf symbol at the upcoming polls. He has also received the blessings of the incumbent President Maithripala Sirisena. However, an official announcement is yet to be made as to what district he will be contesting from. The president has given him the option to decide on the district he wants to contest from. The UPFA has given its consent to the former president to decide for himself. The former president will contest at the upcoming polls with the blessings of the current president.
The presenting of credentials to the new chief prelate of the Askeri chapter was held today under the auspices of the president.
The state event commenced following religious observances.
The
chief prelate of the Askeri chapter, the Most Venerable Galagama Sri Atadasithera, was presented credentials this afternoon at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The Mahasangha, led by the chief prelates, and ministers and MPs led by the Prime Minister, also graced the occasion. The credentials were presented to the chief prelate by the head of state, following an age-old tradition.
Throughout history, the respected Mahasangha, in times of strife, rioting and other troubles, have worked to build unity and friendship among the people and to maintain a unitary country and unitary state. At the same time, throughout the reigns of various kings and the ministers, the respected Mahasangha have provided guidance and consultation for the betterment of the country. The Mahasangha have always been at the fore in this task. We continue to keep hope that you will use your sacred positions for the betterment of the country, for peace, to maintain a disciplined country, and also for the betterment of the global community.
The UNP's Lunugambehera Electorate Council meeting was held at the Lunugambehera Town Centre today. Speaking at the meeting, UNP Deputy Leader Minister Sajid Premadasa expressed his displeasure over alleged obstructions to the holding of this meeting.
Just last night, we faced numerous obstructions to hold this meeting. I looked into it as well to see who could be behind this obstruction. We found out that these hindrances were caused by a battalion who were asleep for the past 5.5 months. These were the same battalion of dogs who ruined the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. This battalion of dogs comprised of the major thieves who stole from the country. A battalion such as this does not have a place, following the response the 6.2 million people of the country gave on the 8th of January, saying that there is no place for fear.
A group of members of the Nil Balakaya were given membership of the United National Party, subsequent to which the official Lunugambehera website of the UMP was launched.
At an event held to provide benefits to the families of war veterans, State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardena said that a scheme is being drawn up to help rehabilitate disabled veterans above the age of 55.
The State Minister made this comment during an event held to provide benefits to families of veterans whose children had passed the Grade 5 scholarship examination. Grants which are given to disabled soldiers are not normally given after they turn 55. However, we were able to continue giving this grant even despite them being past the eligible age. President Maithripala Sirisena gave us consent to do this. We presented this to the Cabinet and finances were allocated to the Ministry. We will be distributing the allocated funds to disabled soldiers in the near future. Chairman of the War Heroes Authority, Anuma Fonseca, was also present for this occasion.
The Friday Forum, a group of social activists, has sought to consolidate and bolster the progressive social and political gains made at the January 8th election. Issuing a press release titled "An Urgent Call to Political Parties and Voters," the group said the country cannot afford to roll back fragile democratic gains.
In the release, the Friday Forum says that today's Sri Lankan society enjoys a greater amount of personal liberty and security, and that the country has seen the decline of ethno-religious extremism. The release reiterates the call of the March 12th declaration that seeks to completely eradicate corruption, nepotism, intimidation and other forms of violence used to coerce people. The Friday Forum says the country would be best served by candidates with a strong democratic ethic and who respect the pluralistic character of Sri Lanka. To this end, they urge the voting public to reject parties that nominate candidates who abuse authority in order to gain electoral popularity, particularly those who endorse violence.
The Sri Lanka Press Institute has vehemently condemned the actions of President Maithripala Sirisena to reactivate the Sri Lanka Press Council on the 2nd of this month. The Press Council has wide-ranging punitive powers, including the ability to jail media personnel, both journalists and publishers.
The SLPI in its press release says the president has gone back on an election promise to halt threats to media freedom and adds that the president did not consult the relevant stakeholders in the media before bringing back the press council. Legislation called the Press Council Law No. 5 of 1973 gives wide-sweeping powers to government-appointed press council, and the SLPI has termed these powers draconian, imploring the president to rescind his decision to avoid, quote, dragging this country back into the abyss of a repressive, undemocratic state, unquote. The SLPI incorporates several media organizations, including the Editors Guild of Sri Lanka, the Newspaper Society of Sri Lanka, the Free Media Movement, and the Sri Lanka Working Journalists Association. The press release points out that there exists a mechanism for media outlets to self-govern their content and address grievances with the public in the form of an 11-member dispute resolution council, part of the Press Complaint Commission of Sri Lanka. Since its establishment in 2003, the PCCSL has dispensed with over 1,500 complaints.
Pakistan's Yunus Khan and Shan Masood turned the tables on Sri Lanka on day 4 of the third test today with an unbroken 217-run partnership. At stumps, Pakistan won 230 runs for the loss of 2 wickets, needing 147 runs for victory with a full day's play left. Sri Lanka recommenced their second innings at Pallekele today with an overnight score of 215 for 5.
Well, that's a wrap of tonight's edition of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Florine Rajendran.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Just a reminder, you can keep abreast of all of the stories we're following here at Newsfirst by visiting our website, Newsfirst.lk. Good night and good luck.